2 years later, I thought the story was over. I thought I would never see him again. For me, the homeless stormtrooper story became just that, a story. It was something I told at parties. I'd laugh. My friends would laugh. People thought it was wild. I mean, who else can say they dressed as Jesus and brought a homeless man as a stormtrooper? It became a funny memory, a crazy anecdote, something to break the ice. But deep down, I always thought that was the end, that I would never see him again, that the stormtrooper had vanished forever, until yesterday. I was walking through the park with a girl. It was only our second date, but it felt good. The sun was setting. The air was warm. Birds were chirping. Kids were playing. Couples were holding hands. It was one of those moments where everything feels calm, safe, almost cinematic. And in my head, I was thinking, this could actually turn into something. This girl is special. And then, it happened. Out of nowhere, a man appeared. Scruffy, skinny, sunburnt, with a beard so wild it looked like it hadn't been trimmed in years. His clothes were ripped, his hair messy, his face tired. He looked exactly, and I mean exactly, like Tom Hanks in Castaway. At first, I thought nothing of it, just another stranger in the park. But then, he pointed at himself and started saying 2 words over and over. Star Wars, Star Wars. And that's when my stomach dropped. That's when I realized, no way, it was him, the homeless stormtrooper. For a moment, I froze. I couldn't believe it. But then, he saw the recognition in my eyes. And without hesitation, he rushed toward me. He threw his arms around me and gave me a massive bro hug. Not a quick pat, not a casual handshake, but a full, tight, awkward hug. Like we were brothers reunited after years apart. It was weird, uncomfortable, but I let it happen. Because deep down, I still felt a little guilty. I was the one who pulled him into that night years ago. And then he vanished into the dark. I introduced him to my date. I explained the story. She laughed. She loved it. To her, it was the funniest thing she had ever heard. And honestly, at first, I laughed too. But then, things got strange. He insisted we follow him back to his tent. He wanted to prove that he still had the stormtrooper costume. I tried to decline politely. I told him we were on our way to see a movie. But my date, she was curious. Her eyes lit up. She wanted to see it, so, against my better judgment, we went. We walked with him to this hidden tent at the edge of the park. He disappeared inside, and after 3 long minutes, he came back out, wearing it. The full stormtrooper costume, helmet, chest plate, gloves, everything. I couldn't believe it. My date clapped. She laughed. She pulled out her phone and started recording TikToks. She was so impressed. And me? I forced a smile, because all I could think was, we're going to be late for the movie. But that wasn't the end. He went back inside the tent and came out with a skateboard. Yes, a skateboard. And he started doing tricks, falling, flipping, trying to show off. My date filmed everything, laughed, cheered him on, and I just stood there, silently watching the minutes disappear, and then it got even weirder. Another man crawled out of the tent, identical to him, his twin. This twin walked straight up to me, lifted his shirt, and revealed a belt made entirely of condoms. He looked at me and grinned. "Want to buy some?" he asked. I laughed awkwardly, shook my head, said no thanks. But he didn't leave. Instead, he leaned closer and said the strangest sentence I've ever heard in my life. "I can tell your condom size just by shaking your hand." My date gasped. She covered her mouth in shock, and then she looked at me and said I had to try. So I did. He grabbed my hand and didn't let go for 30 long seconds. He stared into my eyes like he was reading my soul, and finally, he pointed at one on his belt and said, "Regular, My date looked at me, waiting for confirmation. I tried to make a sarcastic joke, but she didn't laugh. So in the end, I gave in. I paid him. I actually paid the twin for his overpriced expired condoms, just to make him go away. Meanwhile, the Stormtrooper twin brother fell off his skateboard. He landed hard. We rushed to help him up, made sure he was okay. I gave him some money too, and finally, we said goodbye. But when I checked the time, it was already too late. The movie had started, and IMAX 3D tickets are not cheap. I had to buy them again, full price, for both of us. So let's recap. In one single evening, I paid twice for a movie. I paid a condom salesman twin for expired products. My date ignored me to film TikToks of a skateboarding stormtrooper. And instead of bonding, we spent half the night outside a dirty tent. The weirdest, most expensive second date of my life, TLDR. I ran into the homeless stormtrooper years later. He still had my costume, but he and his twin hijacked my date, and I ended up broke, late, and very, very confused.